Despite what you might think of their work, the Coen Brothers are some of the most recognizable names in the filmmaking industry. And though they've never ranked amongst my favorite filmmakers, I've always found myself quite enjoying their work. Whether it's The Big Lebowski, Fargo, Burn After Reading, or the highly underrated Hail Caesar, which might just be my favorite, if only because of that scene between Ralph Fiennes and Alden Ehrenreich. So when I heard that one half of the directing duo, Ethan Coen, be directing Drive-Away Dolls, the first in a series of lesbian road trip movies, I was intrigued. Plus, when a duo of directors split up, it's always a good opportunity to find out who really had the soul this time along. I was especially intrigued when I heard that Margaret Qualley would be in it. I mean, seriously, I've just been in love with this girl's acting ever since I saw The Nice Guys in 2016, and she only gets better and better. Chuck in a few other interesting names like Beanie Feldstein, Colman Domingo, Pedro Pascal, and Matt Damon, and you had my curiosity, but now you've secured my attention. So believe me when I say I really wanted to love this film, but in spite of that, I can't help but feel incredibly conflicted about the final movie, and confused about how I feel about the overall project, even as I sit down to write this review. This movie is essentially two different movies in one. One half is a crime film about two unsuspecting girls getting entangled in a conspiracy theory involving a mysterious briefcase that lands in their possession, and the other half is just a road trip movie about two young girls. The road trip aspect of the movie is executed pretty well, and that's in large part thanks to Margaret Qualley's performance. As always, every single line she delivers just oozes charisma, and the Texas accent she puts on for her character is some of the best work I've seen her do. Though I wasn't overly impressed with co-lead Geraldine Viswanathan's performance, she just can't help but have a lot of chemistry with Qualley's character, if only because Qualley is just so damn charismatic that even a paper bag would have chemistry with her. The other half of this film is a crime film, which I genuinely think is the better of the two halves. If Ethan's previous movies with his brother Joel have proven anything, it's that no one does the random, unsuspecting idiot gets caught up in a conspiracy trope better than the Coen Brothers. And this is no exception. The moments where the two leads get entangled deeper and deeper in the mystery are some of the best, most fun parts of the film, and it results in an absolutely hilarious, explosively fun finale. Unfortunately, while both halves of the film work well enough on their own, they never mesh with each other in an effective way that elevates one another. Despite the crime aspect being the strongest aspect of the movie, it's only given 40% of the screen time at most, and instead of being used to fuel the road trip portion of the movie, it just feels entirely forgotten about at times. Take The Big Lebowski for example. In that movie, the bro comedy that transpires between the dude and his friends feels incredibly baked in with the crime conspiracy, whereas watching Drive-Away Dolls feels like watching a fan edit of two completely unrelated Coen Brother films stitched together. There are plenty of jokes in this movie, but while the movie takes a lot of shots, a lot of them simply don't land. There are a lot of lines in this movie that fall incredibly flat, including the We're Democrats line from the trailer, which doesn't work any better when you see it in context. But the jokes that do land really do, and a lot of the funniest moments come from the guest stars. As expected, names like Pedro Pascal and Matt Damon aren't in it for much, but when they are, they absolutely chew up the scenery. Colman Domingo does a great job, which is impressive considering he does away with his greatest strength as an actor, which is his distinct voice. I also continue to be impressed by Beanie Feldstein's work, and at times, I found myself wishing she was the co-lead of the movie. Honestly, if she has even more chemistry with Margaret. There's also a brief appearance from Miley Cyrus, which, even as someone who likes Miley, honestly left me a little confused. Like, I just had no idea what was going on with her character and why she was even there. While the actors do a great job though, a great deal of the comedy can be attributed to Ethan Coen's lively creative direction, especially when it comes to scene transitions, which are always fun, quirky, and inventive. So, what are my overall thoughts on the movie? I thought it was an interesting but incredibly flawed experiment. The Coen's movies tend to be impactful while feeling as light as a feather, but in video game terms, the movie straight up feels like Ethan Coen taking a detour from the main story to go on a side mission. And I'm not talking about a memorable side mission like the Riddler's puzzles in Batman Arkham Knight. I'm also talking about those forgettable dime a dozen side missions where you stop a carjacking in a Spider-Man game to earn some meager XP. That said, it's not a movie without its strengths, particularly when it comes to performances and the fact it manages to fit in so much material in a 1 hour and 20 minute runtime. And because of that, I can't help but be excited for Ethan Coen's next comedy, which will star Margaret Qualley, Aubrey Plaza, and Chris Evans, who's finally been booking some interesting roles lately. Hopefully Ethan leans into the strengths of this movie and overall builds a more muscular, well-rounded film. All in all, I'm giving this a 6.5 out of 10. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the review, please leave a like and subscribe. And if you've seen the movie, let us know what you thought about it in the comments below. I'm Cinemike, and I'll see you next time. Probably talk about Doom Part 2.